4v3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. We're gonna take flag. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
The Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that Rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Safety gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh, 50's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Pulse Bomb's gonna stick under Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back here to CGL Playoffs. We're here in the Diamond tier tonight, down in the lower bracket, and we're going to be seeing Staleducks against Diamond Eagles. I am Shadowfang, and that is Rain. Rain, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I am excited to see these two teams go off against each other because we, of course, are in the lower bracket of those playoffs, which means we are going to see our second Diamond team head home tonight after the conclusion of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be really crucial, too, because the winner of this game is going to move on to play Wawa Gaming, which I would say is one of the more upper tier teams in the tier. So these two teams are really playing to try and get that upper level competition, if you will. You can see it right there down there at the very, very bottom left hand corner, that this team will move on to play Wawa. Those two teams will play, and then that'll just kind of escalate forward, as you can see there. And it should, and then not to mention on the upper bracket, we have a Death Blossom and Shelby's team. Really no surprises there for that being the upper finals. Those two have been the best teams in the tier this season, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely looking very, very strong in that winners finals right now. Looking at Staleducks and Diamond Eagles, both these teams taking that loss in the first round. Staleducks not managing to get a point against Shelby's team. Like you mentioned, Shadowfang, definitely one of the stronger teams here in this Diamond division. And then Diamond Eagles, you do get that one map off of Aura Fury, so you can at least say that you have that going for you. But as you can see in that lower round too, Aura Fury has also ended up down here in the lower bracket.
Yeah, it's been a bloodbath so far, to say the very least, and I do anticipate that to continue. But coming back to our game here tonight, Staleducks and Diamond Eagles, map 1 has already been selected, and I'm sure 0 people in the chat are surprised that it's going to be Lijiang Tower here tonight, because it always is. I told you this when we were getting ready for the cast here, that I too enjoy vanilla ice cream quite a bit. It's very tasty.
Yeah, if you guessed that Lijiang Tower was going to be the first map of not just the Diamond division, but honestly, all divisions, all teams are selecting Lijiang Tower. It really has become kind of the mainstay in Control. And of course, we're always going to be getting started on that Control map. So we all knew we were coming to Lijiang. So what's really going to shake things up is, of course, going to be the next layer of strategy, which is going to be those hero bans.
Hero bans on map 1 are always fun because it's more of a shot in the dark. I didn't mention this earlier, but these two teams have not managed to play each other the entire season. I don't know how. I went and looked at both their schedules. Neither of them played in the midseason tournament or anything. They haven't played in this bracket either, so it's really surprising. I don't know if these two teams really know that much about each other, and I think it's really hard to anticipate a ban. Where do you think Diamond Eagles might be going here, Rain?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, like you said, the first map, you're really just kind of gonna throw out a ban. You don't want to, even if you did know kind of what the team is going to be playing, you don't want to throw out your hardest hitting ban in the very first map here. This is going to be a first to 3, so could be a longer series. Now, Diamond Eagles are going to be taking the Zarya out of the picture here. Definitely have been getting to see a decent amount of that tank being played, especially when you get to pair it with that Reaper.
No, absolutely. The Zarya Reaper combo is pretty strong right now, so to get rid of it on Lijiang Tower, a super in-tight control map, definitely makes some good sense to me. Staleducks now coming in with a ban. You can get really creative here. You can go for a Lucio if you don't want to run the speed. You can go for a Kiriko, Juno. You got Tracer as an option, Reaper, Cass. It's really just, whatever you're feeling. You can even go to, yeah, there's the Kiriko. There it is. It came map 1, Kiriko.
This is it. Get her out of here. That does send signals to me that you probably are still going to run this Lucio, but you might be able to pair it either with the Wuyang, who has been seeing, admittedly, kind of a drop in popularity as this season's gone on. But we also got to see a little bit of kind of a throwback backline in the last Diamond match that was on the stream here, seeing the Brigitte and the Juno being played a little bit more, as they did both get a little bit of a tweak in that mid-season patch. The Brigitte, of course, is going to be able to throw out those health packs a little bit quicker, and then Juno with a little bit of a change to the way that her mobility works when she's flying.
Yeah, absolutely big time changes there. And here are the rosters. As you can see, Staleducks, you're gonna have Griffin and Fez on that DPS line, Ace Matrix running that tank with Barbecue Chicken and Magic on that support line. That's a powerful support line right there. I wouldn't want to mess with them. And then down on the Diamond Eagles, we got Fluky the Oofer on the DPS line with Oof Gang on that tank, Wolf Pup and Ducky on that support line. The Oofers are going to have to be big time here tonight for the Diamond Eagles.
Yeah, definitely want to start things out strong here. So yeah, this is going to be your starting lineup. Notably, one substitution is available to the Diamond Eagles if they really need it. And then for the side of the Staleducks, they actually have a pretty full roster here. So if needed, they can be subbing people in and out as we go through these maps. It's nice to have that kind of depth. If you don't necessarily have the individual flexibility on these players, you can kind of sub in depending on kind of play styles and maps that you decide to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. Having more players is never a bad thing. You always like to have people that have different strengths and whatnot. As you can see right there, it appears as though Fez and Ace Matrix are going to be playing Roadhog on this map. It's going to be a crazy time for everybody involved. But no. It's looking like Fez is actually going to be on that tank line, though, which could... I doubt it's going to be a Roadhog. You banned out the Kiriko, but that would be funny to see a Roadhog map 1.
It would be. That would be kind of a power move to come out on a team that you've never played against, you maybe don't know a whole lot about, and just take out the Roadhog. It's definitely very, very brave. But like you said, the Kiriko being banned out definitely does make it a whole lot harder to try and pull that Roadhog out. But thinking about kind of the Zarya ban, we definitely have been seeing a whole lot more D.Va kind of getting playtime here. I think that on some of the maps of Lijiang Tower, you can kind of make that work. But I'm very curious to see if these two teams are going to go for kind of this more like Brawl Rush, or if they're going to go for something a little different.
I was actually going to guess the Junker Queen over here as well, because usually, like, if someone is like, I play Roadhog, they also play Junker Queen.
True.
I don't know what that is, what that's about exactly, but it seems like tank players, if they play Roadhog, they only play Junker Queen. That's it. They don't play nothing else on the tank line. It's just those two characters. Diamond Eagles, though, going to be opting for this Reinhardt, which I think this should actually be a pretty good matchup overall if you can manage to burn down this queen pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's right. I like having this shield is going to make it really, really hard for Staleducks to kind of get this damage from this Reaper and this Junker Queen. We can see Fez already falling quite low here, but Staleducks have done a great job taking space in this engagement.
Yes, they absolutely have. Taking position on that point already, burning through that Rhine shield. Oof Gang trying to get some kills there, manages to get one, but Reapers get traded out on both sides. Oof Gang getting kind of low here, needs to play it safe, does manage to get away. And Fez coming in, taking down Oofer right there. This Junker Queen has just been unkillable right now from Fez.
Yeah, Unfortunately, Diamond Eagles kind of got a little bit split there. We saw Ufer kind of positioned towards the point, but Oofgang on the Reinhardt nowhere kind of close to that. And now it's going to be Diamond Eagles having to push into this double shotgun composition from Staleducks. Not to mention you have Griffin on this Sojourn, nearly built up to this overclock already that's going to be able to sit back nice and far and out of that hammer range.
Oh, but Fez already taking down Fluky is tough. But if you trade out Fez, this could be a good opportunity for you if you're the Diamond Eagles. You need to push as hard as you can on this. We're seeing Ufer going for this wide angle right here. Does manage to get the kill onto Barbecue Chicken and has that Deadeye available if they want to. And I wouldn't take that duel if I was you, Magic. That is tough. You lose both your supports right there. Ufer just on this wide flank getting these kills early.
Yeah, that's really great control there. Oh my, that is a crosshair of all time. All right, Fluky on the Reaper here. Diamond and Eagles are back in control of this point. You're gonna like to be able to hold this choke point, especially where you have this shield. It's gonna be hard to kind of push into this. And you have the Shatter ready to go.
Oh, big time Shatter. Fez going down. That's really all you need. You know, you're happy with that if you're Oofgang. That's it. And now the side of Staleducks has to retreat. You're getting up to a solid percentage now, building that up. We have a lot of ults available from both sides. Ace Matrix swapping onto this Mei, though, is going to spell a little bit of trouble for Oofgang, I think.
Yeah, I agree. This Mei is essentially going to be playing like an off tank in this composition that Staleducks is running. That Mei wall is going to be able to separate Oofgang from the rest of his team.
Oh, but the Tidal Blast does come out onto Oofgang, and the Rampage comes out as well, takes down Ducky, but Oofgang just doing a little bit too much work on that Reinhardt right now. And down goes the side of Staleducks once again. And that is a tough fight to lose because you use the Rampage. And the Rampage is really like the strong ult when you don't have that Kiriko Suzu available.
Yeah, not only is it going to anti everyone, but it actually creates a whole lot of space here, which Staleducks don't really have a whole lot of other tools to kind of make that happen. Now, Magic does have the Tidal Blast. You might be forced to use this just to try and get in, but it is actually instead going to be a rotation, trying to take a fight on the point.
And the fight is happening here. The wall comes out. Overclock comes out from Griffin. Does get one. But that shielding right there from Oofgang is going to make it very tough to get another one. Never mind. Maybe, no. Nope. Nothing going to happen there. And we're just kind of just stalling out the point right now. If we're the side of Diamond Eagles, you're more than happy to do this. Get this up to 99% as Fez swaps onto the Wrecking Ball, which I don't think is necessarily a bad choice, but it just doesn't really pair well with the rest of your team.
No, it's very awkward here. Might just be to try and get back to this point. We have this Blossom ready to go. Dropping that onto the point.
Does get the double kill on the Blossom, though. Both supports going down. But Griffin coming in and getting both DPS. And this is not a situation you want to find yourself in if you're Oofgang right now. You do manage to get the kill onto Ace somehow right there. But Fez getting the kill onto Oofgang. And there it is. Somehow the Staleducks managed to flip that fight.
Yeah, and not only do they flip it, they hold onto this Blizzard from Ace Matrix, and Diamond Eagles committed all of their ults that they had available into that to try and hold it and get that 100%. But Diamond Eagles, you have lots of percentage to work with here. You don't have to win this fight. You don't even really have to win the next fight. You can kind of just play to build up these ultimates. Staleducks right now, you need to control this point. Ace Matrix has this Blizzard ready to go. You need to try and force a fight where you're going to get the most value from that ultimate.
Oh, getting the kill on the Fez is big time, and out comes the Blizzard. And I mean, I'm a Reinhardt player, so I'm very used to experiencing that exact thing happening, the solo Blizzard. But there is still opportunity here for you if you're the Diamond Eagles to try and capture this point, as Ufer does get another kill right there. Ufer with another one onto Griffin, and there's Fluky getting yet another kill for the side of the Diamond Eagles. And yeah, this is exactly what you want to see if you're the Diamond Eagles. Deadeye on point from Ufer. Does not manage to get anybody, but Ufer getting 2 kills to finish off that point. And Diamond Eagles are going to take point number 1 here.
Looking really good on this Reinhardt composition. Staleducks starting out on that Reaper and Junker Queen, having a really kind of hard time taking that front fight duel. If you're playing against that Reinhardt and you're not going to kind of try and match this Reinhardt or even match another kind of like hard brawl tank, you need to start taking angles against him. And unfortunately, Staleducks kind of ended up on this composition where you're just trying to beef up your front line, but you didn't really have the tank to kind of make that work. I like Fez swapping over to the ball, and I think that as we move into Garden, this is going to be a big opportunity for Staleducks to try and come back into this.
Yeah, I really totally agree with you. It's like you either have to mirror the Reinhardt, go with a Ram, something more brawly, or you have to go for like a full-on dive style composition. And it looks like that's what we're going for here with the Stale Ducks. Going to be running that Wrecking Ball with some Tracer and some Freya. I really like this comp actually right now. This should do a bit better against the Reinhardt. You just kind of need to surround him though.
Yeah, and we can see that Staleducks definitely taking lots of positioning. Uber over on this soldier, though, is going to be able to control a bit of an angle, but if you find yourself on the point with this Reinhardt, you need to be so careful.
Yeah, it's not a spot you want to be stuck in. And the side of Staleducks are just kind of one by one walking onto the point and dying. And, you know, it's got to be a little bit more coordinated than that if you're going to deal with the Rhine. The reason the Rhine works so well, especially in like the diamond tier, is because it's really easy for everyone to locate the rectangle, man. It's a lot harder for everyone to locate a rolling hamster.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The Reinhardt really, everybody just kind of gravitates towards him. And now Diamond Eagles are going to start holding towards this bridge. We can see that Staleducks is very split up here, but you're not really getting the timed engages that we're really looking for here. Ace Matrix on this Tracer needs to get a little bit closer to these targets that Fez is trying to pile drive.
Yeah, there absolutely needs to be a little bit more combos going here. We got something going in the room here, but nobody getting quite low enough. And Fez, I guess, hit a pile driver off the map, potentially. Something akin to that. But now, if you're the side of Staleducks, you just got to reset. But let's again, I'm going to add to this, that entire time, I think only Fez and Ace Matrix were across the bridge even. You know, it's like you can't win that fight without your whole team.
No, and when you're playing into these brawl compositions, you can't be taking a fight in this kind of one stagnant area for a really long time. Fez is going to make the swap over to the Ramatra here, so again, looking to make a little bit more stronger of a front line, but you're still on this kind of Tracer Freya here. You have this kind of poke damage. You do have some ults building up for Staleducks, but Diamond Eagles are already built up to ults, and they're still in control at this point.
Yeah, one of the downsides of playing the Ramatra into the Rhine is that the Shatter is beyond free as a Rhine main. It is the freest ultimate I've ever had in my life. And Ace Matrix, I think, just blew themselves up with their Pulse Bomb, which is an unfortunate situation to have happen. And it's just straight pure dominance right now from the Diamond Eagles. Staleducks can't figure out what to do. They burn 2 DPS ultimates there and get nothing out of it.
Yeah, Diamond Eagles are just doing a really great job playing around this Reinhardt, and Staleducks have not been able to kind of displace this Brawl team or take this kind of front duel. Ace Matrix is going to swap over onto the Sojourn now, but at 99% here, Diamond Eagles are looking to just clean up Lijiang.
They absolutely are. Great pin and shatter coming out from Oofgang, and you just have too many ultimates if you're the Diamond Eagles. Like, there you go. You can't hit the Freya, Death Blossom. I'll take the Solo Blossom. Why not? We have 5 ults. We may as well all use them. And there you go. Diamond Eagles taking map number 1 in what I would say is a pretty dominant fashion, at least on point number 2.
Yeah, I agree. You know, a little bit of back and forth kind of on Night Market there, where there was a few more kind of angles for the side of Staleducks to kind of push through. You know, you try the rotation around the side, you try pushing main, but ultimately on Garden just really got stuck playing against this Reinhardt composition, and I don't think that really a whole lot of information was even really gained here from Staleducks. You know, in the first, if you have a little bit of back and forth, if you can try and force Diamond Eagles to make some composition swaps, you can get a better idea of where the weak point is here. But Diamond Eagles just played so strong that Staleducks are going into map 2 essentially just as blind as they were in map 1.
Yeah, it's really just the grouping piece of it is what it feels like to me is the big difference right now. Like, Diamond Eagles are doing everything together. You know, they're all just behind the Reinhardt, all on the same target. And Staleducks just can't really put those dives together, right? Maybe if they had, because they were doing a lot better on map number 1 with the Brawl comp, where it's like, okay, just everybody huddle in with Queen and go that way, you know. But then the Wrecking Ball just seemed to be a little bit more difficult for them to get that rhythm going.
And we did see Fez swap over onto the Ramatra towards the end of Lijiang Garden there, so I'm hoping that we'll maybe get to see a little bit more of that from Staleducks, especially where, yeah, the Wrecking Ball combat, finding the timing on dive is going to be really, really hard, even for really high-level teams, right? So if you have players that maybe aren't as experienced, or even if, you know, there's been some roster changes and everything throughout the season, like I said, Staleducks have a very, very large roster, so they've probably, you know, been swapping people in and out, but being able to play that Brawl instead, there's the mistakes that you make are going to be a little bit harder to punish than if you're playing dive.
I mean, yeah, most definitely. I can 100% agree with you on that. I think too that Wrecking Ball in particular is just is got to be one of the hardest characters to try and coordinate with. Like it's just beyond difficult. You know, at least with a Diva or a Winston, there's like a more what is it, linear sort of play
Hmm.
style, even with the dive. And it does appear that we have gotten our map pick, and it's more of that vanilla ice cream that we love so much over here in CGL, and it's gonna be King's Row.
Yeah, so this was Staleducks that selected to go over to King's Row. Of course, it is a favorite for everybody. Maybe a little bit surprising to me, where Diamond Eagles looked really, really strong on that Reinhardt composition, which means are Staleducks going to plan to kind of ban out the Reinhardt here and try and force Diamond Eagles onto maybe a different style of brawl?
I mean, that would be gross. Personally speaking, like I can't understand why a person would ban Reinhardt, like for the life of me. But yes, I completely agree with you that Reinhardt probably needs to be your ban right now. It's either got to be Ryan or Cass, because Ufer was running around and just hitting shot after shot on that Cass on these wide flanks. So I would probably get rid of one of those two, maybe even an Ashe, because I don't know, there's a little bit more distance on this map, so maybe you'd see more Ashe as opposed to the Cass. But that's me like trying to play 5D chess.
No, I like the Ashe call out, definitely, especially on that first point. Well, yeah, all right. Staleducks gonna go ahead, ban out that Reinhardt. I'm sure that Diamond Eagles aren't too surprised about that either. So now the question becomes, what does Diamond Eagles ban out here? It's gonna have to be the damage or the support category. And, you know, there were so many swaps that were made on the side of Staleducks that you probably don't have a really, really great idea of what the Staleducks are going to roll out with here.
No, like there's not really a great idea, I would say, because it's like, you know, the typical picks like the Sojourn or the Reaper, you were playing those characters and playing them really well. So that's not worth banning to me. So I don't know. I'm stuck on like Juno, perhaps, or Ana, or Bap, Wu Yang. A support of some sort, I think, is probably the way to go here.
Yeah, I think that, banning out the support's a good idea. If you have, like, the tank kind of taken away, the support is going to be the next kind of really impactful way that's going to change the meta style. But no, it is going to be the Sojourn banned out here by Diamond Eagles. So yeah, despite getting to play a little bit of that themselves, they're feeling comfortable enough to pivot over to one of those different kind of medium to long range DPS heroes.
Yeah, there's a lot of mid to long range hit scan in particular, so like it's not a super huge loss for you, but overclock is going to be missed. And it is worthwhile to mention as well that we do have Zarya and Kiriko back in the mix, so we could be seeing something like, you know, that Zarya Reaper composition that we've seen. And I think getting rid of Sojourn, if you're planning to maybe go against that composition, might be useful as well. So it could be even thinking ahead to the fact that, like, hey, we might be seeing this Zarya comp.
Yeah, it's a good call out, especially not just the Sojourn, right? That's going to be able to kind of put a lot of pressure on that Reaper before you get in, try and force some bubbles out. But the Reinhardt as well can be kind of detrimental to the Zarya in particular. If you get those bubbles burned out from the Zarya, you can basically just walk on her for free. And if you got a giant hammer to make that happen, it's going to end things pretty quickly. So having that tank out of the mix, maybe Staleducks are going to try and pivot back over onto that Reaper comp. I do think that it would work really nicely for them in terms of you don't need to have kind of as many angles as a dive, but you can still have a little bit of space to kind of work with. Those bubbles going to be able to kind of pick up any of those mistakes that you make. It's kind of your get out of jail free card. You know, you only got a couple of them, but I think that it would be nice for them to have kind of that cycle of cooldowns to work with.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with you on that. And I do think that even like the cast could still be a strong pick with this as well. If you're just trying to play a super close composition and everybody's just trying to blow each other up, essentially, you could go for something akin to that, especially, oh my goodness, when you get the Kitsune rushes out, the Suzus, oh man, a lot can go down. It does suck that I don't get to see Reinhardt on King's Row. You know, that's my personal vendetta, being a Reinhardt player. But, you know, I mean, I guess I just have to live with it.
I get it. Yeah, it is, you know, a little dishonorable, especially when seeing this was the Reinhardt team. But, you know, we'll get to see some other stuff. I like the Kiriko shout-out because I do suspect that we are going to be seeing probably both of these teams still roll out or try and roll out with a Kiriko this time because she's just in such a strong place right now. Not just the ultimate, but if you have a flex support that can land shots, the Kiriko is really terrifying to kind of go up against. And you can still pair that with the Lucio. That Lucio Kiriko backline really as strong as it's ever been.
Yeah, it's so crazy playing Kiriko because people will swear that I can aim so well, and I'm like, no, I just throw kunais in that direction where I know people's heads are sitting at. That's literally all I do, and some of them hit, and some of them don't. And it's looking like we're not going to see Kiriko from either side unless we're just being trolled right now. We're seeing an Ana Brig. I don't think I've ever seen an Ana Brig with a Ramatra before, so that is an interesting shout right there. And then the Staleducks, they're trolling because they're coming out the spawn door, so I don't know what to believe. What are you thinking, Rain?
Yeah, I don't believe anything that Staleducks is showing us right now. I'm expecting that Fez is probably going to go over to that Ramatra. I am still really banking on these kind of like Lucio Kiriko. I am very surprised, like you said, to see this on a Brig coming out on the defense here from Diamond Eagles. Wolfgang on this Ram is not going to have any form of speed to kind of work with to kite him in and out of any of these engagements. And then on the side of Staleducks, well, you are coming out with 0 heroes that are going to get up to that high ground. So Ducky on this Brig is going to have a hard time kind of finding value unless you're right up in the front line with Wolfgang.
Well, hold on now. Let Zarya get up to Park 1, and then we might be able to get up there.
That's right.
Yeah. Wolf Pup does go down really early here, though, so if you're Diamond Eagles, you probably just need to retreat. You can't really do much without your Ana in this fight, but it's looking like we're going to continue here. Ace Matrix just kind of fading out right now, going back main, and not too much going on here, just an exchange of the resources so far. Ufer looking for some shots, but Magic landing some of those orbs on that Zenyatta. Ace Matrix taking down Wolfgang. That is a tough spot to be in. And there goes Griffin taking down Fluky and that should, oh, nice shot coming out from Ufer right there. That should be point 1 going the way of the Staleducks.
That's really good patience from Staleducks. You find that opening pick onto Wolf Pup, the Ana that's going to be doing the vast majority of the healing here for Diamond Eagles, but you don't get too aggressive off of that, right? You just push a little bit slowly. You work with these Discord orbs from Magic. You find that kill onto Wolfgang, and that just snowballs everything forward. Staleduck's going to go ahead, pick up that first checkpoint, more than 5 minutes in the bank to work with here. But crucially, Diamond Eagles, everybody did get this forward spawn, so there is an opportunity to take a very early fight here.
There is indeed. First bubble comes out onto Ace Matrix. Going to have to run away, though. Just some general poking going on right now. Ufer taking down Barbecue Chicken. That's a tough one to lose because, again, it's the Ana, and that is a large majority of your healing. But a lot of just kind of poking, prodding in this main area, trading of the resources, building up to those support ultimates. Nothing too crazy. And with it being such a long poke battle like this, Magic on this Zenyatta is going to get some big value. As we can see, they've already built up to that Transcendence.
Yeah, he has it ready to go. An aggressive TP in here from Ace Matrix, but that's the beauty of playing the Reaper Zarya, is that you have that bubble to just get free charge for Fez.
Absolutely, and Bob does come in, which is going to force Magic out of position and does get taken down by the Bob. What a great Bob from Ufer, honestly. And now the entirety of Staleducks is just kind of funneled into this kill box, and that was a grab that came out from Fez right there. That's you might want that one back if you're Fez.
Yeah, it's hard to turn a fight with Grav when you've already kind of like lost one, especially Magic on this Zen. The Discord orbs are incredible, and then, you know, hitting the headshots in the Grav really, really impactful as well. So Staleducks, you know, you got all your other ults to work with here, but Diamond Eagles have both those support ults ready to go, and this Annihilation from Wolfgang as well, which could be very, very dangerous for a team that has no speed.
Yes, absolutely. Griffin does throw in Bob, just kind of forces everyone back a little bit here. Ace Matrix still looking for this Death Blossom, poking, prodding. Out comes the Annihilation from the side of Diamond Eagles, and in goes the fade for the Death Blossom. Not sure why that... okay, and the stun comes out from Ducky right there. Fez taking down Fluky. And then somehow Staleducks still managing to turn it right here. on the back of Fez just walking forward with these Discord orbs, and this is just an absurd amount of damage that this Zarya and Zenyatta are outputting right now.
Oh my god, Wolfgang just doesn't stand a chance against a high charge Zarya and a Discord orb on him. And that is second point picked up here. Staleducks keeping this time bank nice and healthy. More than 4 minutes on the clock as they move into third here. Now we are going to see a bit of a swap here for Diamond Eagles. Ufer's going to move over on to the Soldier. And Ducky is off of that Brigitte over on to the Wu Yang here. Going to have a little bit more kind of impact in the damage. Help to kind of break through and force out some of these cooldowns from Staleducks.
Now, the one thing to mention is as the grab comes out, and there's the ante to follow up into the grab. Great play from Staleducks. I was just going to say that this corner is notoriously difficult to get past, and you have to get a good grab for it, but Fez just went ahead and proceeded to do it before I could say it.
Fez in complete agreement here, and it's looking a little dire here for Diamond Eagle to get a touch. You need to use this nano effectively. You need to find some kills.
Well, there's going to be one going out onto Griffin. Not necessarily a bad one to get. And this is looking like it's going to be that team fight win that you really needed right here. If you were the side of the Diamond Eagles. Burning off some time. We're already down to that 3-minute time bank. And again, not much in the way of ultimates just yet.
No, this next dry fight is really going to be kind of make or break for these two teams because that's going to allow you to build up some of these other really important ults. Both those support ults coming online quickly here for Staleducks. Now, Diamond Eagles, you're going to have to take a long fight here, which is really not going to work in your favor when you're up against this Zenyatta that has the Discord orb and is going to be basically just shredding your HP over and over again. Nice angle being controlled here. It's forcing Fez to look between the tank and the Reaper that's shooting you in the back.
It's like a which way do I look here? But Ducky taking down Magic and Ufer getting the kill on the barbecue chicken. That's your backline. Staleducks, you just got to run away at that point. So good job retreating right there. As again, you can't really do much if you lose both your supports early like that.
No, it's a nice disengage there. Not going to give any more kind of ult charge over to Diamond Eagles, but now this next fight is going to be pretty explosive for both of these teams. This annihilation from Wolfgang could be countered out by this Transcendence, but then you have this anti-nade from Wolfpop, and she's been able to hit some before, so that's the cooldown that's going to be able to basically cancel everything out here.
Here goes the Nano onto the Reaper. The sleep is missed, and out comes the Death Blossom. Gets 2, 3, and the Annihilation coming out from Wolfgang. But there's that Transcendence, that pesky Transcendence you were mentioning before. Does still actually get a kill off the Annihilation through the Transcendence. Must have been an anti somewhere in there I wasn't seeing, or the cart was doing some crazy angle cart things as the last second touches come in.
Ooh, and that's a big old Blossom on the point. Somehow Diamond Eagles coming back from this. It is going to be Wolfgang swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball, getting this payload stopped just before that third point cap. A little bit of a late kill onto Ace Matrix, but it won't be too bad for Staleducks. You still have a minute in the bank to work with here, but you committed everything. The only thing Staleducks has to work with here is this grab, but Diamond Eagles have nothing. Wolfgang is going to swap over onto the Sigma. I think that you're maybe either hoping for a shield block with this against this grab or to maybe eat the grab, but either way, this Sigma is going to be kind of the last defense for Diamond Eagles against this big ultimate coming from Fez.
Oh, Griffin taking down Fluky right there, and the grab does come out, gets blocked by the shield, as you mentioned previously, and Wolfgang takes down Fez in the process. Yeah, we're down to 30 seconds here, and I don't think the Staleducks are going to disengage here. Ace Matrix taking down 1, but there goes the 2 kills going the way of the Diamond Eagles right there, and you're going to lose Magic here late. And there's not really too much you can do. Wait a minute, bubble comes out. Never mind. We're down to 15 seconds.
Yeah, Diamond Eagles have really dug their heels in on the last corner that you mentioned, right? Staleducks were able to get around it the first time, but ever since then, they just have not been able to kind of get back around. Now, Staleducks posturing. It is going to be the TPN. Ace Matrix will get the touch to start the overtime.
Yeah, great touch coming in there from Ace Matrix. About to build up to that Death Blossom, too, so you need to be watching for that. Griffin getting the kill on the Fluky is exactly what you wanted to see, but Griffin immediately getting traded out by Ufer. Death Blossom comes in, gets both supports, and out comes the Transcendence from Magic, matched by the Kitsune Rush from the side of the Diamond Eagles. And that is a team wipe, actually. If you can manage to get this kill onto Ufer, then you just got to get this next kill onto this Reaper of Fluky before something else happens here. And if you can do that, you'll manage to cap this point. But it's looking like Fluky The is taking down Magic. The Nano Boost does come out, but Fluky The has the Death Blossom. Death Blossom comes through, does catch one. Ace Matrix manages to kill Ducky, though. And here it is. That should just about do it for the side of the Diamond Eagles. They do manage to hold, and we get just about like a meter short of completing that map if you're the Staleducks. It's about as close as you can get it without getting it.
Yeah, so close. But the Diamond Eagles did such a great job burning down that time bank that Staleducks had. There was so much for them to work with, but Diamond Eagles really kind of finding the comp that worked for them there. I think the Soldier swap may be a little unconventional. We aren't getting to see Soldier 76 all that much, but if you can kind of live on your own on like a nice little angle and not be taking resources away from your front line, that's going to make things a lot easier for your team to kind of take down this Zarya, burn through those bubbles, and then find the kill. And also going to help a little bit where that Discord Orb was putting so much pressure. The Zen, if you can catch him out on his own, he doesn't really have a whole lot in the means of kind of peel for himself, say for, just getting an elimination. So not too bad to be able to hold there, but it's still definitely a pretty long distance that Diamond Eagles are going to have to get through to try and get the victory here and get themselves at that 2-0.
Oh, yeah, there's no guarantees here for sure if you're the Diamond Eagles. Really good hold to finish off that map, but you still have to go through the Staleducks here, and they are going to have that on a Brig backline once again, whereas for the side of the Diamond Eagles, they're going to be going for this Cass Reaper setup with the Ramatra, and I don't know. I think it's going to be difficult to really get pressure onto this back line. The only person you really have that can get up there is, well, technically Ducky on the Kiriko can, but then also the Reaper of Fluky The. That's really all you got.
Yeah, so in theory, Barbecue Chicken should be pretty darn safe up on that high ground. Not to mention that you have Griffin on the Ashe as well. That Coach Gun can basically just help you control that high ground behind the point, but you already see a bit of an angle being gained here as the fights are kind of happening all over the point.
Oh, great conversion there from the side of the Diamond Eagles, just finding Fez soloed out on that Zarya. And like you mentioned, everybody's just kind of split. Griffin is taking down one, but here comes the fact that you can't get up there as Griffin takes down two. Nobody can deal with this Ashe. Nobody has the ability to do it. So here you are, stuck in a bad spot. Griffin just going to hop back up on the high ground, just get that momentary touch. And are we not going to get a second tick here? Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I thought for sure there was going to be a second tick from the Diamond Eagles.
Yeah, that was really close for them, and especially where if you're not going to be able to kind of take this high ground away, you need to get as much pressure onto the point as you can. You want 3 people trying to get this cap so you can really lock it in.
Absolutely, and someone's got to deal with Griffin. Griffin has to be dealt with on this Ashe. Absolute menace right now. You see the punches just being exchanged, frontline damage just going through right now. Not too much to speak of. And Griffin just continuing to look for these shots, landing them, getting some good damage off, but now getting pressured a little bit more by Oofer on that Soldier 76. Sleep does come out onto Oofgang, as the Nano Boost also comes out onto Fez on the Zarya. Fluky The taking down Magic in that backline. But here at the exact same moment, both supports have now gone down for the Staleducks, and that's going to have to be a retreat for their side, and that is going to be point number 1 going the way of the Diamond Eagles.
Yeah, I'm not using any ults for that. You get the Nano out from the Staleducks as well. Now, Magic is going to make that swap off of the Brig over onto the Zen, anticipating this change in the way that Street Spades needs to be played versus that kind of first point here. But crucially, on this defense, Staleducks aren't going to have the opportunity to take that early fight like Diamond Eagles did on their defense, which means that the Diamond Eagles get to walk through that really hard choke point for free.
Yep, grab does come out from Fez right there. But it's at such a spot that you can't quite get that pressure out. Oofgang gonna pop that Annihilation. Takes down Fez, Magic, Barbecue Chicken. Ace Matrix does get Wolf Pup in the process, though, to trade out and stop that cart from moving for just a moment at the very least. And here we are now. Diamond Eagles just continuing to march this cart along.
Yeah, looking good for them to pick up second. Now, Staleducks might have an opportunity to get a recontest here, but Wolfpup will be back into the fight by this time. The Juno's going to get back fairly quickly, and you have this orbital ray to work with. Barbecue Chicken needs to hold on to the nade.
Oh, Ducky taking down Ace Matrix, though, is going to be tough because you really wanted something out of that Death Blossom, and it seemed to be an instant kill when the Death Blossom came out. That is the downside of the Kiriko. That damage can be big time from those kunai. And here we are, 4 minutes, 45 seconds on point 3.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit even better of a time bank Diamond Eagles have rolling in here than Staleducks had. Fezzi's going to swap over onto the Orisa here, so looking to have a little bit more kind of strength in this front line, not going to have those bubbles forced anymore, and that does mean Ace Matrix also going to swap over onto the cast. You don't have as much kind of help with that Reaper, so now you need to do something a little bit more consistent damage.
Oofer taking down Griffin early. That's been the biggest source of your damage so far, so as soon as you lose that, there you go. Fez immediately going down as well. You don't have to look at the Ashe anymore. Oofer taking down Magic over there in the corner. That tactical visor coming out, doing some good damage as they take down Griffin, and that is just a that is just a cap right there. That happened. That map is over now, Rain.
You blink and third point was absolutely just gone. Really, really good stuff. I mean, Diamond Eagles just kind of continuing this kind of reign of terror, honestly. They've looked so strong on these brawl compositions. And unfortunately, even though this was the map pick, oh my god, I'm really loving these crosshairs. I don't know how anybody works with it. But yeah, no, regardless of that being the map pick there for Staleducks, not going their way on the defensive side means that they now are at that elimination point. Diamond Eagles just need one more map win to send them home.
Yeah, it's been a really dominant performance from the Diamond Eagles. You even take away their Reinhardt on this map, and they just said, "All right, we'll just run something else. We'll run the Ramattra. You know, we'll show you how it's done. We'll keep playing this brawl comp."
Yeah, and playing it really well, right? Really great stuff from Diamond Eagles. Staleducks have one more opportunity to get a map pick and try and turn this around, but we are going to give them a quick little break to get everything sorted, but don't go anywhere. Potentially a series of completion on the end of this break.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we are. In case you haven't been here, it is currently a 2-0 Diamond in the Diamond Eagles' favor down here in this NA Diamond lower bracket playoffs right now. And we actually do already have our map pick. You can actually see it in the background here, right behind us. And the Staleducks have opted to go for that Circuit Royale pick here. And what are you thinking about this early on, Ryan?
I think that I'm glad that they're kind of pivoting away to maybe move towards kind of a poke composition. You know, we've been seeing kind of the brawl. We saw a little bit of the dive on Lijiang Tower and has not worked against the Diamond Eagles so far. So Staleducks using what could be their last map pick here, take us over to Circuit, that more classic kind of poke map, and also putting a lot of pressure on their DPS to kind of step up here, as Circuit Royale definitely is going to be the place to shine for those long range and mid range damage heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of the Widowmakers, the Freyas, that sort of thing. And here we are with the ban phase coming through right now. Staleducks going to have this first ban. You're on a Circuit Royale. I almost feel like you need to try and protect the Sigma pick here, because I feel like that would be an easy ban to do for the side of the Diamond Eagles.
Yeah, especially because the Diamond Eagles could ban out the Sigma, play the Reinhardt, and just walk it down. Ignore your poke composition altogether. So maybe going for a tank ban here would be the best option for Staleducks. I think that will protect kind of the way that you want to play, but if you're trying to attack the way that you think Diamond Eagles want to play, I would maybe be taking out one of those heroes that Ufer has been playing, either the Cassidy or the Ashe. Ooh, okay, or the Soldier 76. That is definitely an option.
The Soldier has been a problem, generally speaking, but you know, I'm with you on this. I think the Ashe or Widow or Cass might have been a better pick here, just due to how far range you're going to be playing on Circuit Royale. Diamond Eagle's going to be having this pick right now, and I don't know, do you just pick Sigma and call it a day?
I feel like you definitely could. Diamond Eagles could basically just shut down any chance that Staleducks have at kind of running a poke here. We did see the Sigma, like kind of briefly, we were mentioning during the pause at the end, or at the break during the kind of last end of King's Row. So Diamond Eagles definitely have to be aware that there is a Sigma in the pocket of Fez. What? No.
And a Wrecking Ball too. You know, we did see a Wrecking Ball come out. I don't think I've ever actually seen this picture before, because Soldier 70, I did not know Soldier looked like this. Like, I don't think I've seen this picture before. Who is this?
That speaks how little Soldier 76 1 gets played, 2 gets banned. But yeah, you gave the shit there. I mean, Wrecking Ball did get played briefly by Staleducks on Garden of Lijiang Tower, and I've heard that if you're a really good Wrecking Ball, that you can make it work on Circuit. So definitely, you know, maybe banning that out is a little bit of a nod to the Wrecking Ball from Fez.
So we do have a couple of swaps here. Staleducks is actually going to be opting for the 3 DPS comp here. No, I'm kidding. Fez is going to be swapping over to the DPS. Ace Matrix going over to the tank here. And then over here for the side of the Diamond Eagles, Ducky is coming out and Sonari is coming in on that support line for this map.
I'm interested to see what Sonari is going to be playing. Ducky was mostly playing that kind of main support role, but as we move into Circuit, a lot of times we've been seeing these kind of double flex support compositions, so potentially getting Sonari to come in and either play the Baptiste or potentially the Iari as well. So I like to see a little bit of a change in the lineup here for Diamond Eagles, and then Staleducks are just shaking everything up, moving Fez over onto DPS as well. Yeah, that's an interesting swap.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering, because I think we mostly saw Ace Matrix playing that Reaper. I'm just wondering if Fez is stronger at like those hit scanny type characters, and Ace Matrix is potentially better at like the Sigma, or I guess Doomfist is also an option. But also Staleducks are on the attack, so we don't necessarily need to trust this. We can, however, trust what's coming out from the Diamond Eagles.
Yeah, it is going to be that Sigma from Wolfgang. Sonari in on the Kiriko here. Ufer on the May as well. Interesting kind of pick. That's going to be really good for splitting off the tank from Staleducks. You kind of just be able to hold that first corner. I suspect Oofgang will probably be able to get a good impact as well onto anybody that gets split out by this May. But it's a pretty standard composition here for Diamond Eagles. I'm excited to see Staleducks actually walk out of the spawn so I can believe what they have selected. And it's going to be the Sigma, and yes, Fez over on the Hanzo here. I really like the Hanzo pick on Circuit Royale. It's really nice for the other support as well. Griffin over on that Freya.
And Griffin immediately takes down Sonari right there. That is not, you don't want to see your Kiriko down that early. That's a tough spot to be in. You kind of just got to retreat now if you're the Diamond Eagles, as we're seeing them do. You cannot afford to lose anybody else and stagger this fight out any longer than you need to.
Yeah, I like this disengage. You tried to catch Ace Matrix out with that May wall, but Ufer actually going to be able to hit the headshot, taking Fez out. Really nice stuff.
Yeah, great play coming out from Ufer. Oofgang taking down Ace and Matrix on that Sigma as well. Yeah, I mean, it's just the unfortunate reality of having to deal with a May wall. You get just backed into a room in a corner, and now Ace Matrix actually swapping over onto the Reinhardt, the hunter becoming the hunted, or something like that.
I agree. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see the Reinhardt. We do have BBQ Chicken over on the Juno, so you do have a form of speed to work with here. You have to be careful of this May wall, but right now, if you're Staleducks, you're looking to really just force the cooldowns out of Oofgang and then just delete the tank with this Reinhardt.
Yes, you are, but there's also the fact that you are just made out of actual cardboard when you're playing the Reinhardt character, so it's going to be a little difficult to get in there and do that damage very quickly. We are seeing the two teams just kind of exchange this damage right now. Fez getting the headshot onto Wolf Pup, though, is a good way to open it, and Fez still does trade out, too. You'll take the 2-for-1 trade if you're the side of the Staleducks here.
Yeah, the fadeaway shot, really good from Fez. That was a really fast Dragon Strike as well. We see Griffin has this Bola shot as well. So still just taking us to Circuit Royale. And I was saying, I kind of, before this map started, right, you really need to see your DPS kind of step up here. It's where DPS players really shine. And so far, Griffin and Fez have been looking fantastic here for Staleducks as they go ahead, pick up that first checkpoint. Nice time bank to work with here. Gonna go ahead and push up, try to put some pressure onto this high ground as well, because Diamond Eagles got a little bit late kind of getting here, so they're not going to be able to kind of get that nice poke damage on Staleducks as they're pushing this payload up that hill.
No, they will not. The engage is coming through here. A lot of ultimates going to be available for both sides. It's just a matter of who is going to press that Q button first. And there it goes, the Q into the pin. But Ace Matrix does not have speed, so that's kind of it. This is just the Ryan experience as they get slept out of the shatter right there and get forced back. But the Orbital Ray is here to continue this fight forward. But can Ace Matrix manage to get much? Fez taking down Fluky, is what you really like to see there. And Ace Matrix continuing to try and just catch somebody, but again, Ryan without speed is just very difficult to actually catch anybody with. It's almost like Ace Matrix is just a gigantic caution sign moving across the map, and everybody is just clearing the way as Fez manages to get these kills.
That's true. Ace just kind of charging forward, looking for charged very, very far there. Does still have the LOS from Magic, but we are going to get the Reinhardt duel that we so missed on King's Row. Oofgang making that swap. Ufer is over on the Widowmaker as well, so Staleducks need to be really careful and be very aware of that, because it's going to be a lot of pressure on Fez to not only find out this Widowmaker, but keep the pressure on so that Ufer can't just get these shots for free.
Yes, absolutely going to be crucial here. Sonari having this Kitsune Rush is going to be massive here. Once you get to the corner in the spot you want to be at, this Kitsune Rush can really help your Ryan win this duel in a major way. But again, as you mentioned, that Freya and that Hanzo doing a lot as the Kitsune Rush does come out from Sonari. Oofgang trying to get in there, but pins the side of the cart. I've been there before. And the shatter does come through. The MTD, as they like to say. Ace Matrix getting a big-time shatter off and getting 3.
Ace Matrix on a 10-player kill streak. The Reinhardt gonna go ahead and take your high ground away from you as well. Now, when you have this Sojourn Widow versus this Freya Hanzo, Oofgang's shield is going to melt so much faster than Ace Matrix, and I don't think that they're aware that Ace Matrix is behind them.
No, they are not aware. They don't know the mission. That would have been a lot funnier with a shatter available, but even still, you get a nice pin off, get some good off charge. Oofgang going to be coming into this shatter here momentarily, and really, you just kind of need to hold this corner and just wait for your opportunity to get that shatter off. If you just wait, it's going to come to you, I promise.
Yeah, the timing is really critical here for Oofgang, because like I mentioned, the shield break isn't necessarily going to be there, so it's all about the timing.
Timing very crucial here as Fez gets another Dragon Strike out. Griffin using the Bolo, getting one, and there's a second one coming through as well. And over here on the cart, back at the plot, we see the Orbital Ray coming out for the Staleducks, and down goes Oofer on that May, and that should be a point cap coming through for the Staleducks. 2:35 on the clock.
All right, really coming alive here on Circuit Royale. I'm excited to see this for the Staleducks. Doing a lot better job kind of just finding these opening picks, but also doing a great job taking space, especially once we saw that the swap over on this Reinhardt here. Pinning in constantly. Ace Matrix always pinning in and still staying in LOS so that Magic could make sure that the Reinhardt didn't get deleted absolutely immediately. But because Ace Matrix was taking all of that space, that meant that Griffin and Fez had a much easier time on this DPS lineup trying to find those opening picks that I mentioned. So really good stuff from Staleducks. Gonna have to see if they can keep it up on the defense. You can't necessarily play that kind of aggressive Reinhardt style as easily. Definitely is still possible. But there will definitely need to be an adjustment in the way that they're playing this composition on the defense.
Ace Matrix says, watch this. Who knew that our answer this entire time was just to play Reinhardt, you know? We banned Reinhardt map 2, and now we're back to Reinhardt, and it's going well for the Staleducks here so far. Diamond Eagles looking like they're thinking about opting for this Hazard composition with a Venture and a Genji. I don't necessarily dislike it. You just need to make sure that you're not going to be in, I don't know how else to say it, LOS of Ace Matrix pinning at you. As long as you can manage to avoid the pin that happens in your general direction, you should be able to get some good stuff going with this dive comp.
I'm also, definitely looking at kind of the pathing that they're going to take, because you don't really have any of that long-range damage to contest with the DPS from Staleducks. So it's going to be up close and personal here for both these teams right now.
Oofer does get Fez early. That is really what you want to see. But again, it's almost a situation where, since you're playing this comp, you need to just kind of kill everybody else and leave Reinhardt for last at this point. I think that's the way that you really deal with this comp. Staleduck's doing a good job of just retreating. They lose Fez. They're one of their big sources of damage and just general spam, if you will, coming out from the Hanzo. So it is a good idea to retreat here. Not too much going on just now. Oofer retreating on this Venture. Does just barely manage to live. Gets healed to full. Ace Matrix getting pretty close on this Shatter already, so that's going to be something to watch for, but not too much besides just a little poking and prodding going on here right now.
Yeah, and I would really like to see Diamond Eagles kind of more capitalize on when you get those opening picks. You have this Hazard, you have this Genji, the Venture. You need to be moving quickly when you find that opening pick.
Absolutely. The Shatter does come out, but I guess the pin must have been missed there or something. I'm not too sure what just happened right there. That was a strange interaction, Blizzard. Oofer looking around for some kills with this Venture, but who put that Reinhardt there? Ace Matrix goes down, and Oofer continuing to try and go into this back line, get some more of these kills with this Venture. And I guess Barbecue Chicken just kind of gave up right there, decided this was the end of my life. And here we are, point number 1 going the way of Diamond Eagles.
All right, looking good. I like this entire comp swap that Diamond Eagles have moved over to for this attack. The Venture and the Genji comboing really, really well. I think that Oofer building up to this Tectonic Shock is going to be really massive for this next fight. Ace Matrix over onto the Monkey now. So we'll have to see what they can get done against this really high damage comp from Diamond Eagles.
Oh, it's going to be a lot more difficult to stay alive on that character, though, than it was on the Reinhardt. The Tectonic Shock coming through does get 1, and that's really all you need, honestly. You get a support. You were already down another player to begin with. Ace Matrix has swapped onto the Mauga now. I actually really like the Mauga matchup into the Hazard in particular. You can just immediately slam on them anytime this Hazard tries to block at you.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to allow you to live a lot longer here. There's no anti-nade on the side of Diamond Eagles either, so you don't really have to worry about kind of losing all your healing immediately, but you do have 4 ultimates to worry about.
And the downpour does come down. Oofgang taking down Barbecue Chicken. And I mean, really, that's honestly enough. But Fluky thus says, let me get Fez and Griffin on my way out as well. Ace Matrix says, I can pin on this character too, but also Wall. So that's not going to do too much for you as Ace Matrix goes down. And point number 2 getting capped. 5 minutes on the clock for the Diamond Eagles. That might be the most time bank I've ever seen on Circuit Royale second.
Yeah, usually, yeah, right. Usually there's a lot more time burned off the clock on second point, especially if that defending team can kind of get themselves set up onto the high ground. Pushing into the high ground is so hard. So for Diamond Eagles to basically just walk through second point, mostly uncontested, bodes really well for them coming into this third point, especially you got both those support ultimates ready to go. Fluky also has the blade. Some good opportunity to kind of get some kills with it, but you need to wait out some of these cooldowns.
Absolutely. Nice shot coming through from Fez there, taking down Wolf Pup. That's what you need to see. Early kill. And it's looking like now the side of the Diamond Eagles are just going to retreat. They're going to say, all right, you got one on us. We will just sit back, wait, and regroup for this next fight. No ultimates lost on their side either. So really it's kind of a good overall exchange as the orbital ray does come out from Wolf Pup. But it's a little too far back to really have much impact on this fight. Probably should have popped it like more on the cart. I think might have been a little bit more helpful there. But here we are continuing to just engage on the point. Magic retreating, but oh, there's an Oofer right there. And Oofer does get out. Barbecue Chicken taking down Oofer and Fez taking down Fluky and that should do it for this fight.
All right, bit of a stabilization here for Staleducks. Oofgang going to be able to get out alive. Not going to be chased out there. And Staleducks did a good job building up all of their other ults here. So that cage is going to be ready to go. Especially with this comp that Diamond Eagles is running with this Genji, this Venture, and the Hazard. They're going to be playing fairly kind of close. You can honestly wait for the engage in from Diamond Eagles and then hit them with the cage, blow them up. You can even combo with that Dragon Strike if you're really feeling it.
Yeah, right. A cage dragon would be crazy. You might be able to avoid it slightly, like if you just kind of like scoot. You know, I've never seen that interaction, so I'm not entirely sure. But not really much going on this low ground as Oofer gets up to the high ground and takes down Magic early. The cage does come out. There's the cage dragon that we were just talking about. Does take down Fluky and Oofer managing to take down Fez in the meantime, though. There go the dragons. You see them way off in the distance there if you look close enough. And Oofgang just continuing to kind of move this cart forward a little bit. And this is going to give you this corner under control, and we do still have quite a few ultimates available.
Yeah, right, this downport, the blade from Fluky still ready to go here. The sleep dart has been used as Ace Matrix is over on the monkey again.
Ooh, Fluky getting barbecue chicken, though, and gets barbecue chickened immediately afterwards by Fez, killing both DPS. And that is big time, but also there is still an Oofgang alive that can definitely deal with a DPS on that Hazard. You've almost got this point. The downpour does come out. I don't believe it catches anybody. Oofgang taking down Magic there, but I think this is going to be a little bit too much. Maybe, hold on, wait a second. Oofgang taking down Griffin, but Ace Matrix does manage to get Wolf Pup. And if you can manage to get this kill onto this barbecue chicken right there, Oofgang just doing the absolute most right now on this Hazard. No supports alive for either side right now. Never mind, there's a Baptiste with an immortality field. Oofgang taking down another one, though, and there is the cap. A little bit less time for the Diamond Eagles, about a minute less there on the clock.
Yeah, not a whole lot of a time difference, at least when we come to these kind of escort maps, especially considering kind of both these teams got through that first point fairly quickly. So I'm anticipating that if you don't change anything up, we're looking at maybe even taking a fight on this third point as well, because both teams not really getting much of a fight on second either. No. Definitely for what the defending team here, you really want to try, and if you don't get that first point, get yourself set up so that you can, you know, get stabilized on that high ground on second point. That is really going to be kind of your win condition here, especially these overtime rounds where you know, if the other team caps the point, it's not necessarily as important as if it were in these regular rounds. So I'm excited to see what are Staleducks going to bring out here on the defense. Ace Matrix on a lot of heroes so far, but we haven't gotten to see that Roadhog yet.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the answer. That's the answer right there. Roadhog with Bap Zen. We are blowing up anybody that gets hooked immediately. Never mind. We're not blowing up anybody that gets hooked immediately. We're going Kiriko Juno instead. I don't necessarily dislike that combo either, though. It matches the other side, and it does protect your Roadhog from that potential Ana.
Yeah, that's right. And we mentioned this kind of at the start, right? The Roadhog, if you get hit with that anti, it's going to be absolutely detrimental. Barbecue Chicken making another swap over onto the Baptiste here. He's going to be a little bit later getting into the fight, but, well, Ace Matrix is ready to get this started regardless.
Oh, absolutely. You know, those Roadhog players, they do love hooking. And here goes Oofgang going up to the high ground, just getting a little bit of pressure on, and going to force Fez off is Oofer. Good timing from them, by the way. Oofer and Oofgang just really, really synergistic right now as Fez takes down Sonari once again. Fez always opening up these fights with a stray kill for the Staleducks.
Yeah, it always seems to be that Sonic arrow, too. Diamond Eagles are just in the wrong place at the wrong time here. Oh, yeah, that Storm arrow absolutely detrimental to any tank players. We can see that just that one cooldown alone forces Oofgang all the way out of the fight. Oofer coming back on that venture as well. And Staleducks burning some time off the clock here. 30 seconds to go.
Ace Matrix continuing to land these hooks and managing to not die pretty consistently, which is probably the most impressive thing here, as Oofer looking for some kills, some shots on this venture. Not too much to speak of just yet, as the Dragon Strike does come out from Fez. Ace Matrix taking down Oofgang probably means you're going to be able to continue to open this up a little bit more. Nice hook coming out from Ace Matrix once again. But, you know, not too much to speak of going on here as the whole hog does come out. Going to try and get a couple of kills here with this whole hog. Not too much to speak of so far. Magic taking down Sonari. Oofer trading out Fez right there. Oofer still doing the most on this venture right now. Does get a second one with that tectonic shock. And there you go. A third one coming through from Oofer. Just doing the absolute most on this venture right now. Ace Matrix continuing to be, you know, Roadhog and just trying to get away with that insane health pool and that hook that can potentially one-shot somebody. It doesn't right there, just barely though, but you kind of need your tank if you're the Staleducks.
Yeah, Ace Matrix is going to get taken down late there, which okay, Staleducks want to still commit into this. You use that Kitsune Rush, but Diamond Eagles have a Kitsune Rush of their own. And this is this kind of scenario that I was mentioning as we headed into these overtime rounds. Staleducks really, really would have loved to kind of get a very quick reset once they realized that that first kind of fight around that corner was lost and get themselves set up on this high ground, because now you are not going to be able to just get free damage in onto Diamond Eagles. And this is going to be a lot of payload progress for free now for this attacking team.
You are going to have the amplification matrix from Barbecue Chicken, though. That can be very detrimental just because Reinhardt Fire Strikes through that amp matrix can do a lot of damage. Not if you pin through it, but, you know, there still can be a lot of damage to be had here. As we are just poking, prodding, the blade comes out from Fluky, taking down Barbecue Chicken. And Fluky does get traded out, though. And here we are in the back line, just swinging. Out comes the Dragon Strike from Fez. Does not catch anybody, but the Fire Strike from Ace Matrix is huge to take down Wolf Pup right there. You lose your Juno. Oofgang taking down Griffin, though. Fez getting Oofer, and it is looking like Fez once again. Can Fez get this last hit? Can anybody hit this Kiriko? This Kiriko is dodging everything in the world. Magic does finally get the hit, and that's going to be where we end round 3.
I think that's the first fight that was won by a defending team on second point. But hey, that's all that you needed to do there for the Staleducks, and it's still a big ask to try and push this up through first point and through most of second as well. But I think the Staleducks, they're kind of cooking right now. Ace Matrix on the Roadhog. Okay, I was giving him a little bit of flack for dying way early there, but I think that the pick was pretty smart, right? We go for these kind of pick pick compositions, you're looking to really follow up on these hooks. And then that whole hog in overtime is kind of underrated, honestly.
Yeah.
Didn't end up being able to kind of push Diamond Eagles off of the point. But I see the vision. I like that Staleducks are kind of strategizing here, trying to adjust their composition to try and pull this back, start the reverse sweep. But Diamond Eagles on the defense, there's no messing around here. They're even gonna have Fluky, though, move over onto the Reaper. Defense heavy. This is gonna be a really hard front line for Staleducks to try and fight through, which, again, I said this already, it's all the pressure that's really kind of going over to Griffin and Fez on these longer range heroes.
Yeah, you're really going to have to see some shots be hit from Griffin and Fez. They've been doing it very well so far, just sniping, getting those stray kills, as I always talk about. It seems like Fez is always starting off an engage, getting one of the two supports, and then Staleducks just, steamroll the fight off of that. I do believe this is the first time we've seen D.Va here today, so Ace Matrix is going to be opting for this D.Va pick. Really, the only thing you're really going to be looking for is probably one of those supports back in the back line here. And looking like Ace Matrix going to go and reposition on this high ground. And here comes the tank of the side of Oof Gang. Does get soloed out. That is not what you want to see right there. Early kill going the way of the Staleducks. Just going to get some free push here. And if you're Oofer, you probably just need to hurry up and die right there.
Yep, and that's going to be happening regardless if there was planned or unplanned. I like the D.Va pick and then to go straight for that Ramatra because that D.Va was able to eat up all of the healing that was provided by Diamond Eagles. Wolfpup is going to swap over onto the Juno off of that Ana now. And we are going to have Oof Gang move back over onto the Reinhardt, Fluky over to the Genji. So lots of adjustment being made here for Diamond Eagles, and they're going to have all 5 members to try and take a contest before this first checkpoint is gained.
Yeah, we're going to have one more fight here for first. Fez and Ace Matrix about 70% on their ultimates apiece. Fez has been building up these Dragon Strikes like crazy, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them get that pretty soon here. Unless, of course, they get swiped by Fluky, though, like that. That is just an unfortunate thing to lose your Hanzo so early in this fight. And Ace Matrix so deep, just going to lose that mech. And that should just about do it for this fight. I mean, if your Staleducks just retreat, you still have another minute.
Oh yeah, reset quickly. Don't even run. Oof Gang will chase you down. And all right, I mean, I love the comp swaps that Diamond Eagles came out with here. Ace Matrix definitely gonna have an even harder time on this D.Va now, especially up against Oof Gang on this Reinhardt. We saw that hammer just basically taking out the mech so quickly. Ace Matrix does have the bomb to work with here. You have both DPS ultimates coming online, so this could be a really nice combo. You throw that bomb out, you're gonna basically corral Diamond Eagles into a very specific location, then you hit them with either the Dragon Strike or the Bola. The tools are all there for Staleducks to try and cap this first point. They just need to find the opening.
Yes, they absolutely do. But right there, Oof Gang taking down Griffin. Fez does manage to take down Fluky, but again, you got to deal with this Reinhardt in some capacity because, there's just nothing to do. As the side of the Diamond Eagles does take a couple of kills there. The bomb does come out from Ace Matrix. They managed to get Sonari. That shatter, that doesn't work in vulnerability frames for the remake. That is an unfortunate situation to be in, but it is starting to look like the Diamond Eagles are going to just continue to push this fight. Tectonic Shock does come out from the side of Oofer. The Kitsune Rush comes out from the Staleducks, but you kind of are walking into a bunch of hammer damage. The Nano does come out onto Ace Matrix. But again, you've lost your whole team at that point, and the Diamond Eagles are going to win this fight and move on to play Wawa Gaming.
Very exciting stuff here for Diamond Eagles. Very well deserved. This team has been so impressive through all of these maps, but we definitely did get to see Staleducks kind of find their footing as the maps went on. It was just a little bit too late for them, as that is going to be Staleducks being sent home. And like you said, Shadow, that means that the Diamond Eagles will live another day, move on to that next round in the lower bracket.
Yeah, really dominant performance from the side of the Diamond Eagles, honestly. Showing exactly how they were able to take that one map off of Aura's Fury right there. Aura's Fury been a very strong team all season, so to be able to even take one map off of them shows you just the level at which the side of the Diamond Eagles are playing at.
Yeah, and I am super excited to let everybody know that we are going to have a chance to speak to not just the winning team, but we are going to get to talk to the Staleducks as well. So we are going to throw it to a little break here so we can get everything set up, but we're going to get a chance to hear from both of these teams very shortly.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got our winners interview here with Oofer and Oof Gang, the Oofs, as I've been calling them. And here we are. How are y'all doing tonight? How are you feeling after that big win?
I'm doing great. That last match was so stressful, but like now I'm doing really good.
Honestly, I think I'm doing great. It's just really good because I'm surprised we're even able to make it to playoffs. So being able to just go that little bit further is really amazing.
Yeah, fighting your way through. I mean, it was an impressive series, right? You guys were so clean on maps 1 and 2, a little bit more pressure on circuit, so I'm not surprised that you're a little stressed there. I had a lot of fun kind of watching the different comps that you guys came out on. We always mentioned that watching Diamond, you know, we get to see a little bit more kind of variety of compositions. Would you guys say that kind of that Reinhardt composition is one of your favorites, or is that something that you are just kind of pulling out because it seemed to be working really well?
The Reinhardt comes from, I originally was support, but one day I played Reinhardt and said, this is it. This is what I love. And it just became pretty much my main go-to character.
Yeah.
Love it.
Us on the team, we love the Reinhardt because he's gonna do like a crazy shatter, and it's like, all right, time to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And to just kind of follow up, your next series is going to be against Wawa Gaming. I did not check in between there, but I probably should have. Have y'all played them? If you have, what did you think? What are you thinking going into this next match as well?
We think they're a really nice team. We played with them before, and honestly, I was really glad we got the opportunity to, because to me, they just have really nice personalities, if that makes sense. They're really nice, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to play against them again.
Yeah, we gotta prepare a bit because they have a lot of different players than last time we faced them, I think.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, definitely. As the season's gone on, there's been a lot of changes. You guys are looking at the team sheet that you have. You don't have, as many players as you necessarily could. Do you think that having this kind of smaller roster size has been beneficial for you guys?
Honestly, I think it has been good because we can form a lot of synergy. And we've gotten a lot closer as time has gone on, and we just kind of sometimes we'll just know how each other works, and we can just act on it. We can communicate very well, and I think that's one of the biggest things in Overwatch, just being able to talk to your teammates, understand what they're doing, and just being able to act on it.
Yeah, I mostly agree with him there. It's just like, you don't have to worry about, oh, now this guy's in, I don't know what he's going to do, where we always know like the other person's play style.
Well, all right. Before we send you on out of here, is there anybody you want to shout out at this particular moment in time, either related to the game or just in general in life?
Shout out to our great manager, Conk. He has gone through hell and back, getting us amazing scrims, and just helping us become I think a really great team we can become.
Yeah, shout out to whole team, all our managers, all our coaches, and my dog.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a solid shout out to say the least. All right, that's going to be Oofer and Oof Gang from the Diamond Eagles. Thank you for coming in, talking with us tonight, and best of luck against Wawa in your next match.
All right, thank you.
Right. Well, that was Oofer and Oof Gang from the side of the Diamond Eagles. Now we're going to have Fez and Pickle coming in from the side of the Staleducks. How are y'all doing tonight after that?
You know what? I can't complain. For both of us, this is a bit of a win-win because I'm a part of that org. I'm so a part of the Diamond Eagles, and also I'm really proud of what Staleducks have managed to accomplish under 3 different names and 17 different players.
17 different players. I feel like that's got to be a record. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am curious. Are some who have been kind of the mainstays on this roster? Who have you been kind of building it around through the season?
Well, originally it was built around one guy who shall not be named, but he kind of got kicked out by Headrammer, and then we built it around another guy, and then he decided to leave, and then we built it around another guy, and he left for Aura Fury. And then we just kind of tried to build it around 3 players, and then luckily they stayed. And then, it was just a little bit of just everything. Like, what roster did we have what week? Who has work, who doesn't? But it was a fun season either way.
Yeah, it's been super interesting to play in this kind of environment because it means like I get to try to get a lot better at being adaptive and actually trying to take risks in different hero pools than playing the same Sojourn and Hanzo that I have for the past 4 years. And I think even like leaving this season, I can walk out saying like, hey, you know what? Fez is maybe a more versatile player than when he started. So I can't really complain with that too much.
All right. Good positive attitude to have. I'm actually going to relate back to the series here because it felt like y'all were so close on these maps at particular times. Where do you think the difference was happening, in particular on like a King's Row or a Circuit Royale, where it was like, oh, we were just right there, but we just couldn't quite get over that hump?
I have one name in mind. Pickle, would you like to go first?
Yeah, Basically, I just think it was like a whole lot of synergy because unfortunately, whenever you have a whole lot of roster moves, you can't really get the team synergized in enough time. And like for example, like we were building around another player to play, and then like he got suspended, and so we had to play around that. And I just felt like I was doing my players a disservice by not allowing them to have proper time to actually get synergized with the team. And I felt like there were just a lot of scenarios that they were split on stuff.
Heck yeah. It dawned on me while you were talking. I was like, wait, were they asking about the game specifically or the whole series? Because if it was Diamond Eagles, I would say Oofer single-handedly cooked my mental for a little bit, but he had my number. And Fluky, since he told me in VC a moment ago. I gotta give him a shout out. That's my best improves right there is that DPS line. They're incredible.
Yeah, I agree. I love to give flowers where required. Definitely the DPS from that team, very, very strong. But I really like, Fez, that you gave kind of a shout out about how you feel like you've become a much more versatile player. And I mean, we got to see you on so many different heroes in this series. So I guess for me, I'm wondering, you have all this versatility now. Do you think that you are going to move over and be that tank player now? Or do you think you're still going to kind of swap between things and just keep it interesting?
I really haven't even decided if I'm going to keep playing yet. However, I feel like part of me wants to be that tank player because I think having that kind of role where you're almost leading the pace at times depending on the comp and leading maybe the team and the IGLing and stuff like that. I feel like that takes a lot of brain power that I don't have right now that I would love to have in the future. But honestly, I'm not sure if I'm at a point that I can put in the time to really make that happen if I wanted to. So realistically, I stick to my guts, but we'll see how that goes in the future.
Well, all right. And to finish it off, are there any shout outs that you would like to do? Fez, you already did yours, so you're gonna have to pass. No, I'm kidding. Man. But any shout outs for either of y'all? Just anybody that you're feeling like, hey, yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah. First off, shout out to the entire team and everyone who's been with us from all the way from Joe Biden to Theory to the roster we have now with like Griffin, Railgun, Barbecue Chicken, Magic, Jimbo, Fez, Ace Matrix, Nitsipata, Few, So Fast, and just everyone who's been, watching us, preying on our downfall and keeping us in their back of the mind. So also shout out to Diamond Eagles. I've had the pleasure of like coaching them since like middle of the season, and they've just been soaring and getting so much better, which is just, I'm so proud of them, and I'm proud of both teams in general. This was a fun game to watch.
And I'll extend that by saying shout out to Pickle for dealing with trying to figure out who is going to show up to every game, every scrim for the last 5 or 6 weeks. I know I got gapped by employment for a little bit there. Yeah. And finally, just to stroke my own ego, shout out to anybody who's ever said my name in Diamond Tier, Reverts, all of you, Reese, I appreciate all of you. I just like seeing my name scroll by every now and then. And that's all I got.
Well, all right. Congrats on a good season there. It finished out just now, but go have yourselves a good night. And thanks for the good series. It was really entertaining to watch, to say the least.
For having us.
Well, all right. That was Fez and Pickle from Staleducks. You can see it down here. Staleducks, Diamond Eagles, going to be 3-0 in the favor of the Diamond Eagles. And like I mentioned before, Diamond Eagles going to move on to play Wawa Gaming. You can see it right down there. It isn't in there yet because, it just happened. But now it is because they entered it on the website. So it's there now. There you go, Diamond Eagles, Wawa Gaming, going to be having that game sometime in the near future. But any last things to say about this match today, Rain?
Just that it's always fun to watch kind of these diamond tiers and get to see all of the chaos and all of the fun, and also really, really nice to hear from both of the teams, both so kind in their exit and interviews and in the winner interview as well. And I think that if anything from what we heard from Diamond Eagles in that interview, Wawa Gaming is going to be a pretty darn good match. So just really excited for the remainder of this lower bracket, especially because these teams just have to fight so hard.
Yes, they are going to have to fight so hard, and you can see it on any of the CGL channels, 1, 2, potentially even 3. We sometimes have a lot of matches going at the exact same time. Just keep those notifications all turned on. We're going to be trying to have matches every day as they happen. I do believe we have a few tomorrow. I'm not sure of the exact nature of them. I believe we have an EMEA one in the early to midday, and then of course we have the NA one at our usual time as well. But shout out to our producer Head Rammer and our observer Mochi here tonight. Great jobs as per usual. I've been Shadowfang too, and that's been Rain, and that's gonna do it for our match here tonight. So good night, everybody.